boy. I feel like this is going to be the Donkey Kong Bonanza design thing all over again. Oh well. I don't know if I'm going to do much editing. This might just be Amalia sits in the abyss of space and talks at you for however long this video ends up being. I imagine it's going to be really long though. Maybe I'll just trim it down. I don't know. I'm running on a loose script right now. Maybe I'll do a few edits. No, I always say I'm going to do edits, and then I stay up until 5 a.m. and then I go, I'm never doing that again. And then the next time I have to emergency put together a video overnight, I do it all over again. I should really stop doing that. Okay, so let's cut to the chase a little bit. If you don't want an old, grumpy, tired Star Fox fan to complain about the new game, don't watch this video. Go find another one. Go search maybe over there. There's some like things you can go click on. This video, probably gonna be a lot of me complaining. I'm sorry. I am not saying this lightly. I don't think I've been this disappointed in a video game reveal in my life. Note, I said reveal, not game. Most disappointing game still goes to Final Fantasy 15. Especially as someone who was really excited for Versus 13. Okay, I like sat up in my chair and stuff. Let's talk about this. For the uninformed, Nintendo shadow dropped a Nintendo Direct about a new Star Fox game. This is the heavily rumored classic style game that has been the center point for, I would say, the last month of Star Fox discussion. And as of the Direct, we have learned that this new Star Fox game is yet another retelling of the Lylat Wars. It is the 4th time they have opted to redo this game's plot, 5th if you count Star Fox 64 3DS. From the footage shown, it borrows some of the puppet-like aesthetics from Star Fox for the Super Nintendo while being effectively a one-to-one remake of Star Fox 64, which is already available on the Switch and Switch 2. Some changes have been added, such as a prologue with James McCloud being betrayed by Pigma, which has never been shown before. It's only been alluded to. Some other things that have been added in are further cutscenes that have been teased in this trailer. There is also a new kind of multiplayer with 3 different maps, and there's also a mode for each map. I think that's how it works. Each map has like one mode you can play on. There's also the option to use mouse controls if you want to aim in the first person and just, I don't know, play Star Fox like it's a shooter game, I guess. I don't mean to sound unenthusiastic, by the way. I'm just recording this late at night and my roommate is asleep. The mouse controls seem pretty cool. More importantly, you can be a VTuber. Imagine being one of those. I have been in the middle of a subathon, coincidentally celebrating my Star Dragon model, so the Direct shadow dropped when I was live earlier yesterday. It's 2 a.m. Oh god, it's 2 a.m. Anyways, it shadow dropped yesterday. I went ahead and I watched it live, and sentiments across the board in chat were all pretty similar. Very few people were excited about this in my community, at least. From what I can see, it does seem like maybe this reveal is more divisive than I originally believed. I thought it was pretty much a reviled reveal from the drop, but I guess that's not true. And that is actually a good thing, that it's not getting universally panned. That being said, if you saw my reaction, you probably know how I feel already, but we're going to talk about it in detail. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to preface this by saying that it's okay if you're excited. I'm happy for you. I wish I was right there with you. But the sad reality is that I'm somewhere between livid, furious, and baffled. And I'm going to use this space to talk about why. And you don't have to agree with me, but I do think I have pretty valid disappointment and frustrations, and I'm just gonna talk about it. It's always important to talk about what you like about something. So we're gonna start with the things that I have more positive feelings on. While I am extremely conflicted on the direction for the character designs, I think they have managed to capture certain characters really nicely. I think Starwolf looks good. I also think Andross's design is really, really terrifying in all the best ways possible. They have nailed those. in this realistic kind of puppety style. I do not think they nailed every single design, unfortunately. As you can kind of see here. Why did they do that to Cat? There's definitely some uncanny valley happening with certain characters at particular angles. But I think for sure they nailed Andrew and Pigma's designs, which is pretty funny considering how the fandom generally treats those two like punching bags. Or jokes. Or joking punching bags. In terms of overall graphics and visuals, I pendulum a bit on if I like them or not, honestly. I will admit, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, I feel like sometimes it looks like one of those fan game concepts you see on YouTube in Unreal Engine 5. You probably know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes I look at the visuals and go, wow, that is impressive. At other times I kind of worry though that this direction feels a bit devoid of personality when it comes to basically everything but the characters themselves. While shiny graphics are nice, leaning too hard into realism can make a series lose the direction that made it definable or recognizable in the first place. In this particular instance, they've entirely changed the art direction, and I do worry it's a change that's not really gonna land with audiences or really stick with the series. The character designs being obvious callbacks to the original Star Fox is also nice in sentiment, at least. I can appreciate a reference or two. Multiplayer looks like it has a lot of potential, although with my busy schedule, I don't really see myself engaging with it a whole lot. I'm also unsure if I heard correctly that there's 3 maps with 1 mode per map? Is that something they plan to update? I really hope so, because that's not a lot of maps or modes, really. I want to remain optimistic on this front though, because I do feel like this is a multiplayer aspect that could really be utilized by Nintendo in the future. And also because I'm full of copium. The promise of new cutscenes and even getting to see the big betrayal in the game's prologue were both really nice. That gives me a lot of hope that they will be putting effort into the cutscenes themselves. I've always felt like the characters in the series are one of the strongest points, and seeing additional character interactions is something I'm definitely looking forward to. Objectives in the missions are definitely a net positive as well. I do wish they had talked about what you get for completing the objectives. Do they exist to check off little boxes on a list for completion? Do they unlock prizes, cosmetics? I don't know, but I hope they give us something. That is mostly it for positives. Let's talk about the big thing, and that's Star Fox VTubers. Holy moly. God, imagine being a Star Fox VTuber. Imagine Dragons. I don't even know what to say about this. Imagine commissioning a Star Fox inspired VTuber model back in like 2024. And now Star Fox VTubers are like a thing, and you can just be one in the game. Holy moly. Did this reveal make me a little worried that I might get Nintendo Ninja'd sometime soon? Yeah. Well, I guess you guys know what happened if I have to take Star Dragon out back old Yeller style. Anyways, the VTubing thing is just really silly. I feel perceived in a weird sort of way. I've been a bit surprised that Nintendo has not really implemented much digital puppetry into their more modern marketing stuff, but you know, I hear VTubers have reputations or something. VTubing is something that companies are apparently dipping their toes in, even behind the scenes quietly from what I've been hearing. Definitely did not see this angle happening with Nintendo, but you know, why not? Sure, I guess Star Fox VTubers. I will only be using the Pigma one, for what it's worth. It's time for, I guess, the part that you're all waiting for. Why am I disappointed by this game reveal? And there's really just so many reasons that I don't even know if I have the energy to go into every single one in like extreme detail, but they actively picked every single thing I think I did not want them to do, and they just decided to do it. And as a result, I found looking at the game and rewatching the direct several times, I'm disappointed. I'm not excited. I'm actually, like, looking at this as someone who delves into Star Fox stuff, I have no desire to delve into this game. Because, like, I've already played this. I've already played that game. I can boot it up right now. It won't look good. It won't look like that. But it's the same levels. It's the same bosses. I can, like, 95% of the game is already on my Switch too. If they had added new planets, new characters, new music, new bosses, new enemies, I would have been way more on board with this. But it's like almost a one-to-one remake of Star Fox 64, and I already own that. I play it regularly. This is not a game that is designed with me in mind. This is not a game designed for me. So naturally, I'm not excited for it. And sure, they promised extended cutscenes, and I want to be excited about that. I want to be excited for, like, more character stuff, and I am. But there's a part of me that is very skeptical out of the gate that we're even going to get much that's, like, substantial. More on that in a little bit. They showed off that new prologue with James, and I actually kind of feel like they showed too much. I usually don't mind that sort of thing, but I almost feel like they showed too much of it, and it kind of left less for us to look forward to by showing us so much of that cutscene. I mean, what else is there gonna be in that section of the game? I mean, they kind of made it sound like it was playable. I don't know, though. I don't really get what the plan is, but it was nice seeing, a new cutscene, even if I felt like they played the clip probably too long, and I don't know, Pigma's betrayal felt a little just like, yep, actually, I'm gonna betray you right now. It's like, I think a little bit more buildup would have been preferred, but, I'm nitpicking a little bit with that, and I understand that. Back to what I was saying before, they could have done so many different things to get me to come around by the end of the direct, but they didn't. While the graphics are improved and the music sounds really, really nice, I just look at this game and I can already pinpoint every single spot in the trailer and, like, where it is in every level because I've already been playing this game. I have this game, and from a gameplay perspective, this does not feel like it's offering anything that the old version does not already give. And that is disappointing to me. I know some people have this preconceived notion that apparently I don't like the Star Fox 64 style of gameplay. I don't really know where that's come from, considering I've talked about learning how to, like, speedrun that game, and I regularly play it, even on stream. I don't mind Star Fox 64's gameplay structure. Even if I wish that they did more with it, I would have been okay with a game that was styled like it, but it had new planets and a new story, or even just one of those two things. Like, I would have been excited just for that. But they didn't do that, and I'm surprised because I actually thought that was what it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a game in the style of Star Fox 64, but it was going to be a new adventure, not frame for frame just about Star Fox 64 again. And I know there's already going to be people commenting before they even get to this part, and they're going to be telling me the same thing everyone else is telling me. They're doing this to appeal to new fans. They're trying to establish a new anchor point to bring in new fans. That could be their intention. However, there's still a problem here. But let's think about this a little more than that. Because everybody keeps telling me, oh, this is to bring in more fans, bring in more fans, bring in more fans. Sure, okay. Why didn't they do that with Donkey Kong Bonanza? Why didn't they do that with Metroid? Why have they never done anything remotely like this with any other franchise that they have revived? Sure, they remastered Prime 1. They remastered Donkey Kong Country Returns. But along with those ports, they gave the fans a new game. these remasters that they have made in the past, for these franchises that they have been reviving, they always came accompanied by another game. We already knew that there was going to be another game. We knew that Prime 1 Remaster was made to prep people for Prime 4. Metroid 2, Samus Returns, yeah, that got remade, but people wanted that. The fandom actually wanted that to be remade. The Star Fox fandom, for the most part, I would say like 90 to 95% actively were saying, please do not remake this game again. We don't have any guarantee that anything is in the works for Star Fox right now, other than this game. There is this alleged leak that there's an Adventures-like game, but it is not coming from anybody reliable. Nobody with a good track record. I'm sorry, I looked into it. I can't find anything from a decent, reliable source. So I don't think it's real. And if that game is not real, or if there is no other Star Fox being made, we have just waited 10 years for them to remake a game that they have already remade multiple times. Sure, this could still bring in new fans. I've already seen many people who are new to the series want to try the game out, and I'm really happy about that. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy about that. But comparing it to how other franchises have been revived, it does not feel like it was given nearly the same amount of thought and effort, and I'm disappointed by that. I think King K. Rool is a really good example of this. The modern young gamer probably didn't know who he was. They probably, only knew him from Smash Bros. Ultimate, kind of like Fox and Falco. But we didn't exactly get a DKC trilogy remake now, did we? They didn't feel the need to do that with that series. They didn't feel the need to stop and be like, okay, before we do Bonanza, we have to, re-educate everybody on who King K. Rool is. They didn't feel the need to do that. Not then. So why is Star Fox different? It's always, we need to reintroduce Star Fox. We need to reintroduce Star Fox. We need to reintroduce Star Fox. But they never give it the same revival treatment as any other franchise. They just continue to push Lylat Wars. And I don't get it. We don't need the Lylat Wars story to introduce the cast. I don't think they actually understand that. You can make a story and introduce the cast without remaking the same game. You can do both. I keep saying story, but what I mean is like, you don't need to introduce everybody in the Lylat Wars over and over and over. You can make another adventure that also introduces all the characters and has like new planets and stuff. Like you can make it a fun new adventure that could also serve as a nice introduction for new players, a nice starting game. It doesn't have to be chronologically first either. You could just make a standalone independent story. I'm not saying non-canon. I'm just saying a story that doesn't technically require you to play Star Fox 64. You can do that. That is a thing you can do. But they don't seem to get it. And all of the people jumping on me already for being disappointed keep saying that it's, I should just not be disappointed. I should just be excited because, this is going to rev up so much interest in the series. And I'm just having every freaking war flashback from 10 years ago. Because this is the same stuff everybody was saying for Star Fox Zero. Like, people were disappointed by Star Fox Zero being a rehash of the events of Star Fox 64. I was disappointed as well. However, everyone kept saying, don't worry, we have so much planned for Star Fox, over on Nintendo. I remember them calling it like the year of Star Fox or whatever. There was like a treehouse for showing off all the stuff for Star Fox Zero and also some of Star Fox Guard, which Star Fox Guard, that was huge. We had our first spin-off ever. Our first spin-off ever. There was also The Battle Begins, the whole OVA, and it was like so well done. And everybody thought It was super cool. They liked how it hinted at more cutscenes and more plot, especially because General Pepper was acting a little shady. People were excited. And it seemed like things were just super, super exciting to be a Star Fox fan. And everyone was like, don't mind that it's another Lylat Wars remake, because the game after is going to be something, you know, like original. You know, they're just reestablishing all the characters and the lore with all the people who have never played the older games. It's the same song and dance that we're hearing right now. We all heard it 10 years ago. I was there. I was there when the strength of men failed, Gandalf. And after Zero came out and it flopped, all of that, oh, it's the year of Star Fox, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. We're so excited to revive Star Fox and put the spotlight back on it, turned into crickets. Sure, I guess they gave us Star Fox 2 finally. They'd been sitting on it for decades. It was already completed. It was just sitting in their vault. They just threw a bone, I guess. They let that one studio make, you know, Star Fox stuff in their Ubisoft game. Sure. But all of that hype and momentum, all of that, we're reviving the series to reintroduce everybody, you know, to the new generation of gamers, it resulted in nothing. Crickets. And sure, we can blame the Wii U. I would love nothing more than to blame the Wii U, actually. But I think this game, this Star Fox 2026, while it is on a more successful console by a hot margin, that doesn't guarantee success. And we have to look at things realistically. This is a game being sold for what, $50 to $60? It's also almost a one-to-one remake of a game that is already accessible on NSO. There is some more added content, but from the direct, I gathered that it wasn't like that much more added content. Maybe there's just stuff they haven't shown yet, but I don't really want to hold my breath hoping for that. So it's a $50 game in a year in which the economy has been very volatile, and the increase in prices of all games has caused gaming to be less accessible overall. And it's a game that has a notoriously short runtime, which will make it less appealing to a lot of people. I want to be wrong. I want to think I'm being a pessimist right now. But a lot of people are like, oh, it's on the Switch 2, it's gonna sell. It could. But I also recognize classic Star Fox is a niche. And I just don't think that putting it on the Switch 2, which is a very successful console, is necessarily going to also guarantee its success. I just think that there's other factors that could interfere. And I'm not saying that because I want it to fail. I'm saying that because I think it's a very real possibility that it will. If they release a movie and they can't get, you know, the youngins to want to buy the funny little Fox McCloud game featuring Fantastic Mr. Fox, especially right after the movie, they're going to be like, oh, well, you know, we're going to shelve this. It's going to be a repeat of 10 years ago. Crickets. You know, now that I'm talking about what happened 10 years ago with Star Fox Zero, one thing that I think people have forgotten over the years is like people back then, 10 years ago, did not want a reboot. They really didn't. Like, there was a small majority that did, but overall, people were kind of like, yeah, but like, we've already played this. And that was when Zero came out. And Zero, at least for all of its many, many, many flaws, endeavored to attempt new things. Star Fox 2026 is the same as Star Fox 64, but with DLSS5 on, and I just don't think we needed that. And if it happens again, like I said, I think the same thing that happened 10 years ago is going to happen again. I think 10 years from now, we're going to be sitting here with another Star Fox 64 remake going, oh, but surely they're remaking it again to introduce the game to newer gamers. And I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I'm tired. The last time Nintendo released a Star Fox game that was not the Lylat Wars was 20 years ago. Unless you count Star Fox 2. But that's like a weird case. That is 2/3 of my life spent waiting for them to do literally anything other than make the same game again. We now have a franchise with, I think it's like, what, 10 games? And 5 of those games are basically the same game concept, but just imagined in mildly different ways. And it just kills me that Nintendo never does this with any other series. But for some reason, they do it with this one. And I don't think I will ever understand why. I'm sorry if this is really rambly, by the way. I swear I wrote notes down, but I had to ramble. Ramble even more. Ramble, ramble, ramble. Sorry, I thought I saw a bug. I think that's the, like, exhaustion spiders. Do you ever get so tired you see spiders from the corners of your eye? No? Just me then? Oh, okay. Anyways, before I fall asleep at my desk, there's a lot more I could complain about, but honestly, some of it is definitely me just being nitpicky, and I acknowledge that. I'm a nitpicky person. I nitpick the things I care about. But basically, one thing I want to mention about the dialogue is I actually don't really have any issues with any of the VA performances. I think they're, like, fine. I think the dialogue itself is passable to good. But Slippy's initial dialogue on Corneria. What is up with that? Because this guy is really getting shot at. And he's like, oh, can you, like, get rid of those guys while I fine-tune my sensors? Like, why do you not sound concerned at all? Like, dude. Dude, you're gonna get shot down. Okay. I mentioned the new designs already, but I don't think they stuck the landing with all of them. I think the Star Fox team in particular looks way more unrefined compared to Star Wolf, which the whole team just looks a lot better in this style. I don't know what it was when they were cooking those, but yeah. Attempting to reference the puppets from the Super Nintendo era isn't really, like, a bad idea. I'm not really against it, but it's a choice that's really easy to mess up. That's the thing. Is, like, yeah, I see what they're doing, and I appreciate that as a fan. I think it's really cool that they're doing that, but it's one of those choices that you're either gonna nail it or you're gonna mess it up entirely. And it's not gonna look good. Personally, I think they should have hired a furry. Did I stutter? They should have hired a furry as a consultant, and that would have fixed probably the bulk of all the, you know, the issues with probably all 4 of Star Fox's models. Yeah. I feel like they're definitely the weaker models, and that's kind of disappointing to see. The renders, though, on the website look way better than the renders in the game. And I think part of it is obviously maybe these renders are just, like, a higher quality. Okay, sure. I think the lighting is why the renders on the site look better. But that is just a theory. A Drago theory. Anyways, in conclusion, when I look at this game, I don't really feel excited. I already have this game. I've been playing it since I could hold a controller in my hands, and I regularly replay it. Some cutscenes may get added, and those will no doubt be nice to watch. But other than that, I don't really think there's anything here for me. This is not really a game that is designed with me in mind anyways. If this is a revival attempt, if this is an attempt to appeal to a newer generation, I don't feel like they're going about it the correct way. I don't feel like they're going about it in a way that is as thought out as other revivals, and that has contributed to my frustration and disappointment. That being said, I want the game to do good. I will always want Star Fox to do good. No matter what. No matter if it's the 20th remake. I will want the game to do good. Always. And despite how the game is just nothing that really appeals directly to me or even adjacently to me, I still want it to sell well. I still want new fans to discover it and to have fun with it. And I want everyone who buys it to have fun with it because I care about the series. And I want to see it thrive. And I am still holding on despite being jaded and cynical and once bitten, twice shy. I still hold on to that hope that maybe this time will be the time when their crazy strategy of remaking the same game over and over again works. And maybe the next game will actually be an original and new story. I'm a pessimist, but also a little bit of a dreamer. I'm a dreamy pessimist. That sounded better in my head. My feelings about this game are pretty negative. And I know there's a lot of people that won't understand that, but I also know that there's a lot of people who are in the same position I am. And I want you to know that it's okay to be mad, and it's totally fine to be disappointed by this. I've already had people try to pressure me into being excited or telling me I should be excited or telling me I'm not a fan if I'm not excited. Look, I'm here to give my perspective on things as a fan since the late 90s who has been active in the fandom for like over 20 years. I'm not interested in just blatantly lying and saying I'm happy. I hope this video kind of explained at least a little bit of where I'm coming from. I think my frustration mainly stems from just having to wait so long for something I feel like I already have. It doesn't feel like a new enough experience. While I'm trying to understand that this is supposed to be for newer people, newer generations, I can appreciate that notion. I just feel like this is a mishandling of that endeavor. That's the word I'm looking for. Endeavor. But on the flip side of this, and I mean this from a genuine and sincere place, I do not understand how existing fans of the series could possibly be excited about this game. Removing the aspect that maybe it will get more people interested in the series. What is it about this game that has any existing fans excited? Is it the cutscene potential? I'll admit I'm excited about that. Is it the different multiplayer? Is it the tweaks here and there? I just personally, aside from maybe some cutscene potential, I just don't see the appeal. And that's what's shocking to me, because usually, even if I don't agree with something, I can at least understand why something might be appealing. And for this, I just can't. It's like I'm searching and I'm looking at the footage. I'm just like, there's got to be a spark of something in here that is making even existing fans happy, because I have seen existing fans allegedly singing this game's high praises. But I just can't see it myself. And I would like to ask, if you're one of those fans, I want to hear from you. And I want to know why you are excited about this game. And I'm not asking this, again, from a snarky, mean-spirited place. I'm legitimately, genuinely curious. If you feel comfortable, be sure to let me know in the comments how you feel. Again, I want this game to do well. I want it to thrive. I want the series to thrive, even if I am personally upset about what they're giving to us after 10 years. Even if I'm very concerned that it's going to be an endeavor that doesn't pan out, I'm not so petty as to be like, well, my idea didn't happen, so I hope the whole thing burns. Come on, really? Really? The thing with Star Fox is we have no guarantee that we're ever getting more games after this, especially if it flops. And even if we do, it may be another decade away. And I think that's what really contributes to all of this frustration. We waited 10 full years just to be given a one-to-one remake of a game we already had, And it's very possible we'll have to wait another 10 years for another chance to have anything else. And that is disappointing to me. If I were to go on any more about that, we're just rehashing stuff. So I'm not going to waste your time like that. What I do want to say is, already as a content creator looking at this game, I don't feel the most compelled right now to make content about it. It's not really pulling me because it's mostly just one-to-one of Star Fox 64. So while I imagine I will cover a little bit of the new stuff, whatever new stuff comes out, maybe from the cutscenes, I don't really see myself doing many videos on this. I feel like it's going to be kind of business as normal because it's, you know, unless they're adding, you know, a bunch of new stuff and they just haven't told us. That could happen. That'd be really cool if they did. I feel like it's going to be business as normal. I already have a very extensive list of stuff I want to cover, and I plan to do just that. I'm going to continue making Star Fox videos. Probably more analytical ones. We've gotten some opinions out there, and I hate doing opinion pieces. Let me tell you, I hate them. No matter what you say, you can never win. But also, you can never win with the research ones either, because you can study something for 2 weeks and people will tell you that their 5-minute Google search somehow made them smarter than you. I love being a content creator. Anyways, make sure you take care of yourselves, you eat good food, you stay hydrated, you treat yourselves nicely. The last part's important, but also keep it civil in the comments, or I'm gonna take all of your left shoes and I'm gonna poop in them. I'm gonna poop in them. And I will not apologize. Bye-bye.